Module 4 of my mobile journalism course, we're looking at tips and tricks for social engagement. How to make your videos travel far and wide online. Hey, what's up? Okay, so we have looked at social discovery, how to find amazing stories on the internet. We've looked at social video shooting, how to create stories with your phone, social editing, how to actually edit those into amazing pieces of content. We're now looking at social engagement. Now that you've shot and edited all these amazing stories that you found from around the world, how do you share them with the world? Videos don't just go viral. It's a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of engagement, and we're going to be looking at a few engagement strategies now. Everything we do is not just shot on mobiles, but it's also created for mobile devices. So you've really got to pay attention to social video trends. And one of the biggest video trends that we're seeing right now is audiences watching video with the audio off. All the videos that we produce on Facebook have big, chunky subtitles so that people watching without the audio on still understand what's happening. Subtitles are really important on a bunch of platforms, especially Facebook, but it can be a bit of a pain in the to actually do subtitles. So here's a few tips how to make it really easy. One way to do that is to upload your video to YouTube and let YouTube auto-complete the SRTs by simply clicking on the captions option and clicking on auto-complete SRT subtitles. In this way, YouTube will listen to your video in a bunch of languages and do its best to transcribe it with SRT subtitles. Sometimes they get it right, often they get it wrong, depends on your accent. It doesn't really understand my accent. But when they do this, you have the opportunity to correct those SRTs. You can then download that SRT file. You can upload that SRT file to Facebook, and voila! You suddenly have SRT subtitles all over your Facebook videos without much effort. Another app that I like for creating subtitles on an iPhone is Clips. You can simply hold down the red button, and as you're holding it down, it will create subtitles in real time. Really, really useful. There's another app that does this. It's called Cliptomatic. It costs about $5, but it's pretty cool if you want to save time when you're trying to do subtitles. Okay guys, so we know that each platform is different, and it's going to take you a while to be able to repurpose all these videos for different platforms unless you use a very clever app. And one app that I like to do this is called Pick, Play, Post. Pick, Play, Post is available on Android and iOS. You simply go into your camera roll, you upload your footage, and you can choose. Do you want it 1x1 square? Do you want it 16:9 YouTube? Do you want it 9x6 for Instagram stories? You have the choice about being able to repurpose the same piece of content in many different formats. Really useful. That's Pick, Play, Post. Example time! Okay, so for the 3 types of YouTube videos that we hear about in the YouTube Creators Playbook, Hub, Hero, Hygiene, here's the examples. Hub content is like what we produced in Module 3 when we were looking at Quick, the video editing app that did really quick explainer videos, text, music, images. That's your ideal Hub piece of content. It doesn't take you long to make. It's really, really easy to produce. Hygiene content, an example of that is all the videos you're watching now. 9 tips for making videos with your phone. How to edit with your phone. These are all highly searchable. They're here today. They'll be here in years to come. All the videos that you've watched in this course are hygiene. They're there to stay. They're evergreen. They're not just meant for this month. You can check them out on YouTube anytime. And hero content. An example of a hero piece of content that I produced would be when I traveled with a group of rape survivors up a mountain in India, and I was able to use Snapchat face filters to help hide the identities of rape survivors while enabling them to tell their stories. For me, that was an example of hero content. It took a lot of time, energy, effort, thoughts, and planning, but it was rewarded with a lot of press attention. It was featured on the BBC, and a bunch of media organizations covered it. That's hero content. It takes careful planning and preparation, but it's really important if you want to grow your audience. Especially in the early stages, many young creators should focus on their hero work, because if they're doing everyday stuff but nobody's watching it every day, you might not be getting the best return on investment in terms of your time. But if you focus in and doing something really good, something really high quality, that can build a name for yourself. That can drive your audience to your social media accounts. Imagine you're doing a story on electric cars, and Norway is a country that hopes to have entirely electric cars and get rid of fossil-fueled cars by 2025. You're making a video about Norway being the electric car hub of the world. You've created that piece of content, it's an amazing video, now you want it to go viral. How do you start? Well, you start by building an engagement strategy. For example, Andy has just been to Morocco for #OurStories. He's done a piece on Formula E, which is this electric vehicles that are incredibly fast, incredibly powerful. But what we're most interested in is that the technology that they produce is actually integrated into everyday consumer vehicles. When we're producing a story about Formula E, our social strategy looks something like this. First, we identify influencers that are interested in motorsports and Formula E. We get in touch with them, we ask them to share it. Then we find a bunch of Facebook groups of people that are passionate about Formula E, and we ping the link to our story in those groups. We then find all the hashtags on Instagram that people are talking about when they talk about Formula 1 and Formula E. We then create conversations. We ask people how they feel about Formula E, and they comment below. We ask people if they're going to buy an electric car, and they comment below. These are the ways that we create an engagement strategy. It's about listing out all of the different people and places that might share your video, whether it's influencers, groups, pages, and of course, starting conversations so that people talk about our video about Formula E. So I would say that 50% of your efforts is about the actual video you produce. And you can only do so much there and you put it out. The other 50% you have to focus on engagement strategies. And one of the most important engagement strategies that we've seen is getting your thumbnails and your headlines right. The thumbnail, the title that people see before your video plays, is crucial. It's when they decide if they're gonna watch it or if they're gonna leave it. It is so important to get something that is gripping, that is gonna keep people entertained. Thumbnails, pay a lot of attention to what that image is, make it the best image it can be. Headlines are also incredibly important, and this has been the same since the days of newspapers, but they changed significantly for social media. Okay, so examples of thumbnails and headlines that really do well, that grab attention, they generally have a few things in common. One, they start with a very strong image, something that grabs people's attention as they're scrolling on social media timelines. This often involves eye contact, people looking at the actual camera. It seems to get people's attention on social media timelines. And then of course the share text. You really want to create a curiosity gap. You don't want to create a headline that says the most important thing about video is getting good quality audio. You want to say here's the most important thing about getting good quality video. And you're like, what's the most important thing? I need to click and find out. That's how you create a curiosity gap. Curiosity gaps get people clicking, curiosity gaps get people's attention, and that's how you get them to watch your videos.